you're back. All right, and I'm back too. So welcome back, everybody. I'm excited to have you back on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel or wherever you're seeing this video. And thank you for taking some time out of your day for this video and to learn a little bit more about intermittent fasting. I think this is my second or third video thus far on it, the second within the last week where I've been talking about intermittent fasting. So if you are joining me live, drop me a comment below, tell me where you're watching from, tell me, have you ever done intermittent fasting yourself? So if you're just jumping on, let me know if you've done intermittent fasting, or if you're catching the recording of this, you can post in the comment section on Facebook, or if you're watching this on YouTube, again, you can post below if you've done intermittent fasting. So I have done a previous video on how often should you do intermittent fasting, what is intermittent fasting. So today I really want to talk to you about how you should break your intermittent fasting period. So I have been kind of doing intermittent fasting, known for short as IF, previously for the last, I don't know, about almost a year now. And I came across it when it popped up, all over YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and I kind of was like, no, I'm good. I love to eat. There's no way that I'm going to go X amount of hours without eating. And then I was kind of seeing all the health benefits behind it, the brain function, the cognitive function that went along with it, as well as fat burning, and just so many other health benefits that kind of came along with it. So I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. I'm usually down to try anything. But with this, I was really excited because after doing tons and tons of research, watching YouTube videos, watching people on Instagram and experts and gurus in the nutrition and health and science field, I was really intrigued by all the science behind it. And I don't know about you, but I love to kind of research things. I love to learn more about the things that really interest me. And I've learned a lot about hormones and supplements and how you can basically manipulate, for lack of a better word, your body and your health so that you can live the best life possible. And so intermittent fasting is one of those, I guess, manipulations, but kind of just a tool to use so that you can help with a lot of different things. And so when I got into intermittent fasting, I kind of ran into a few speed bumps. I had a couple mistakes along the way and some things that actually ended up hurting me rather than helping me. So intermittent fasting is meant to be used as a tool to help you cut down fat, beat brain fog, basically help with cognitive functioning and digestive problems, bloating, even like things like IBS and whatnot. So it's a really great tool to use, but I was kind of doing it wrong. And here's a few mistakes I made. One, I kind of just picked a day and that was it, and I fasted anywhere from 12 to 16 hours, and I was not really preparing my meals before or after, so that way I knew what to break my fast with. I didn't really do a ton of research in the very beginning until I started to make these mistakes and ended up binging on food like pizza and burgers, which was not good. And so from that point forward, I was like, you know what, I know intermittent fasting could really work, but I'm missing something here. So I kind of had to slow down. I stopped doing it for the time being, and I figured, okay, I need to research a little bit more because I really wanted it to work for me. I really wanted to be able to bust through those like last 5 to 10 stubborn pounds that usually your body reaches what's called a set point or homeostasis. Basically, if you have ever hit a plateau, maybe it's your last 5 or 10 pounds you'd really love to lose, but your body just can't seem to let it go. Intermittent fasting is a really great tool, and so that's what I was using it for. But when I would break my fast, I was so freaking hungry that I would break my fast with whatever was in sight. I didn't even care at that point. My goals were the last thing on my mind, and all I wanted to do was eat. So give me a hell yeah if that's happened to you with intermittent fasting, because that was me. I was just so hungry at that point that I was going to lose my mind. Not only that, but women are actually super sensitive to the hormone hunger called ghrelin, which sounds a lot like gremlin, and that's exactly how I felt. I felt like a gremlin, and I felt like this whole different side of me was coming out, and I just wanted to eat everything in sight. Pizza, burgers, pancakes, you name it, especially if it was a carb. My eyes were set on it. And so what happened was I would do intermittent fasting anywhere from 12 to 16 hours. I would not eat. I would just have water, maybe some aminos, and I just lost it. And so finally I was like, you know what, okay, I gotta figure this out. I gotta find the best method for me. And through a lot of trial and error, I mean a ton, I finally figured out how I needed to break my fast. So today I wanna talk to you guys about how should you break your fasting period if you're going to be doing intermittent fasting. Now, from all the research I've done, the videos I've watched, the studies I've seen, everybody kind of has their own take, and IF is still being researched and still being manipulated a little bit to see what are the best results. But what I've come to realize from learning from experts like Thomas DeLauer and Dr. Berg and some of these other big names that are in the nutrition field, especially nutrition science, is that everybody's kind of unique. And if you're on the ketogenic diet, this will obviously be very different for you. You're probably going to reach for something. You might, break your fast with something that's very low in carb and very high in fat. But for the majority of people who aren't doing a keto lifestyle, but want to benefit from the fat burning and the ketones that they get from intermittent fasting, might break their fast a little bit differently. And that's kind of the category that I fall in, because I am an everything in moderation kind of girl. My diet, my macros are pretty moderate. Your macros are your protein, your fat, and your carbs, and all of those are pretty moderate in my diet. I don't like swing heavily to one side and go really low on another. Just through trial and error, I found that works best for my body type and for my energy level. And so when I was breaking my fast, I would choose really high carb foods, but then I would just crash immediately because I was going into a massive carb coma. And then I realized when I had those 12 to 16 hours of fasting and I only had X amount of hours to eat, that I would gorge myself and I would have 2 or 3 big meals, and then my stomach would stretch so much and I was so tired that the whole benefit of intermittent fasting was out the window. There was no surge of energy. I didn't feel very good. So I actually started to have a really negative experience with intermittent fasting, but I knew that I was probably just doing it wrong. So I want to give you guys some tips on how you should break your fast depending on what you're looking to accomplish. So for those of you who are kind of like me, and maybe you're trying to lose the last 5 or 10 pounds, you've been at this same weight for quite some time and you've kind of just hit a plateau, you're really close to maintenance, but an extra 5 pounds of fat would be awesome to get off your body and you would love to just look a little bit leaner, then my recommendation is don't go into as long of a fasting period. I would choose 12 to 13 hours. And then depending on which meal you love the most, either breakfast or dinner, I would choose the meal that you love the most to break your fast with. So this is what I found works for me. So personally for me, I like to start my fast anywhere between 5 or 6 p.m. the night before. Stop eating that last meal. So dinner at that last meal, 5 or 6 p.m. Eat nothing else until about 6, maybe 7 a.m. the next day. Try to get in 12 to 13 hours of my intermittent fasting. So a good portion of it is spent sleeping. And then around 5 or 6 a.m., I know this is not maybe ideal for some of you guys, but I can get a workout in and then I can break my fast with breakfast. I am a breakfast freak. Like, I love breakfast. If I don't get breakfast, I feel like why bother living? That is how I feel about breakfast. I love pancakes. I love being able to get up in the morning and eat. It's just something that has been instilled in me since I was a kid. So if you are a breakfast fanatic like me, my suggestion would be do it that way. Start your fast at 5 or 6 p.m., have your last meal around then, and then break your fast another 12 hours later, 13 hours, whatever it is. Now for women, fasting is so different than men, so we benefit right in that 12 to 14 hour window. Personally, we become so much more sensitive to hunger, to ghrelin, the hunger hormone, than men. Have you ever noticed that most men, I've yet to meet one man so far that gets hangry. Women get hangry, and it's because we're so much more sensitive, because we have the superpower of childbearing, which I mentioned in my last video. So as a woman, 12 to 14 hours is really ideal for you. You don't really need to do it every single day. Maybe if you have a bigger weight loss goal, you want to lose 20 pounds or so, maybe incorporating it 5 times a week would be great. Maybe one day on the weekend, so it kind of keeps you accountable so you don't splurge on the weekends. But also my second tip, besides figuring out how you're going to structure your fast, is knowing how to break it. So are you going to be able to work out during your fast? Right at the end of your fast, that is a great time to get in your workout. You're boosting what's called your human growth hormone. This human growth hormone is something we don't really produce as adults anymore, but kids do. That's why they're running around all crazy and have all this energy. So that really helps. We're basically using human growth hormone, we're boosting it, and we're also having ketones in our body. We're switching to a fat burning versus a carb burning metabolism. So all these great things are happening while you're fasting. And then if you can get a workout in, even better. You are just like 10xing your results and the possibilities of how your intermittent fasting journey is going to go. So 5 to 6 p.m., you're starting your fast and then breaking it around 6 or 7. If you can get an early morning workout in, that's even better. If you can't, go ahead and break your fast and then maybe do a workout maybe an hour or 2 after that. So if you are looking for those last few pounds couple times a week is totally fine. If you have a bigger weight loss goal, then I would suggest maybe 4 or 5 times a week. As women, it's not necessary that we have to do it all the time. I do know women who do, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I definitely think when you first get started intermittent fasting that you should kind of dip a toe in before diving in 7 days a week. That's just my personal experience, what I've noticed happened with me. And if you're somebody who loves carbs, then this will be a bit of a challenge for you. Now, everybody's macros are different, so how you break your fast post-fast is going to be important. Now, I've tried it a couple different ways. I've tried breaking my fast with a higher fat meal, so something that's going to have a lot more avocados or oil or even maybe red meat, something that's going to be higher in fat. And then I've tried breaking my fast with something that's higher in carb. And then I've tried breaking my fast with something higher in protein. And what I've discovered is that I do better with a moderate protein and a moderate carb break when I'm breaking my fast. That first meal is a moderate carb, moderate protein meal, and then I feel so much better. What I noticed when I had high fat right after I broke my fast is that it felt like it took longer for me to digest, which is true because fat takes a little bit longer for your body to digest, and I just didn't feel my best. So moderate protein, moderate carb is how I break my fast. So my recommendation, if you're getting started intermittent fasting, pick 3 days this week, next week, whenever, and do your due diligence. Pick the days that you feel you're probably going to be your busiest, structure how long you want your fast to be, and then pick 3 different types of meals that you can break your fast with. And definitely make sure one of those days at least you can get in one 30-minute workout at the least during that fasted time. So maybe you're going to do it next Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you want to do Monday, you're going to break your fast with a higher fat diet. Maybe you're going to have like a couple eggs and avocado and something else, and maybe on the second day you decide you're going to go something for a little bit higher carb, maybe like a protein pancake from Kodiak Cakes, which is usually how I break mine. It's got a little bit moderate carb, a little bit moderate protein, and then maybe on the next day really high in protein and maybe a little bit moderate on something else. So finding what works for you is going to be key in this process. What works for me may not work for you, and while there's still being research developed and science kind of delved into, there's not really one set way you should break your fast. I've heard completely different viewpoints on all of it. I've heard it's better to get a higher carb meal in right after your fast because you can use that insulin spike, and then you use it as energy, and then you can go work out. And I've heard it so many different ways, and the only way that really matters is what works for you. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you know somebody that's been interested in doing intermittent fasting, be sure to tag them in this video below. Just comment, tag their name. You can share this with them on your wall or personally through a message. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and I really appreciate it. I will be repurposing videos onto my YouTube channel. I'll be posting my blog link below with 5 tips on how you should break your fast, and I'll be posting that in the comment section. So if you've enjoyed this video, definitely look out for the blog post that will be coming in just about 30 to 45 minutes roughly, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.